now was, okay, so breastfeeding. Like I said, that was really hard, breastfeeding. So with Cameron, it was like the easiest thing ever. I didn't breastfeed Kinsley, but I with Cameron, it was like from the start was pretty easy. Like the first couple of days, like you were sore, but
yeah.
And so with Parker, like I just thought, like, oh, another kid, like it'll be easy. It was awful. Like I was miserable. It was like I feel like it wasn't too bad like towards the beginning, but it got to a point where like I would get really anxious and dread that I had to nurse him, and like I'm like now I can see the clear answer to that. Why would I continue doing it? I went to a doctor's appointment, and I had already like I knew at that point that I had like the postpartum stuff, and I saw Casey.
Okay.
And like I feel like hearing her validation, like it's okay to stop breastfeeding. Like you don't need to go to a certain point. Like I was like, okay. So that day was my last day breastfeeding, and after that, like I felt so much better, just like mentally, just like all around.
Changes your hormones.
He didn't care. Like I mean, like I know not all babies are gonna be like that. Like yeah, it changes your hormones. Which I had my hormones tested, and they said everything was normal, but they fluctuate so much throughout the month. Like you would have to go, like at a certain point of your cycle, and like that's hard to do. So I just like did the work of like how to help heal your hormones just in general. Like if you like with social media, like I would find things on there, and that was helpful for that. But I don't know, just getting the validation though that it was okay to stop breastfeeding. But I remember like I didn't want to tell anyone. I don't know why, because it seems silly now, but I didn't want to tell anyone that I stopped. And like if we got formula for him, and like I would sneakily make the bottles for him without like if you're in public, like I would do it like before we went into the store if I knew he had to eat, so that no one would see me doing it. I'm like, why? I did it with Kinsley. I don't know why I felt so like it just seems silly now, but I just wanted to share that. Like I don't know that I feel like on top of already having the postpartum stuff was really difficult. So letting go of that made it a lot easier, and it's okay.
Yes, fed is best. Yes. Oh, I'm glad you said that's going to set somebody free today. Like to hear that. So what are a few practical ways to help someone who is struggling with postpartum?
Definitely take them a meal, and it doesn't have to be like I feel like the first 6 weeks is like the postpartum, like you're postpartum for up to a year at least, like and like I mean you're not even back, especially if you breastfed the whole time, like your body's not back to a normal again until well after that. But I mean it can be just random, like hey, I made chili, I have extra, I have too much, like can I bring you some? Like, and I know some like are farther away than others, like my best friend's right next door, so it's a lot easier, like and like you really aren't that far either, so like, it makes it easier. But just things like that, calling them, talking on the phone, like just checking in. Hey, I'm going to Food Lion. Do you need me to pick up anything for you? Like, no, okay. Like they might say no every time. The offer's still there though. Like, and like from being in that, like I feel like that's really helpful when people are still offering, and because I pushed away a lot and I wanted to be alone and like all those things, but like you guys would always still come and check in anyways, and it meant so much to me.
Yeah. And I want to say, I wish we would normalize like doing meals for new moms, because when I had my first baby, Madeline, like we had weeks worth of meals. Like people were so generous. And then with Aiden, we got a couple meals, but like usually, and people just don't think about it with your second and third, but like you need even more help when it comes to your second and third.
Especially like, number 2. I don't know why. Like, was it for you? Like, it was really hard transitioning from 1 to 2. Like, what did you think it was hard?
A little bit, but I was so used to daycare kids, and like I'm used to having a lot of babies at once. But with both kids, like Dakota's gone back to work right away. Like we have not even maybe one full day with him, and then he goes back to work. The
US, like other countries get like months off.
Yes,
like,
I know.
It's crazy.
Well, and him like being a business,
he doesn't have that.
Like, he doesn't have that luxury, but
he was, that's what it was though. Even like he doesn't own his own business, and he had to go back. He only had a couple of days off, like. Whenever Kenzie was born and Cameron was born, I don't remember after Parker, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard. So like, take somebody a meal, text them, and be like, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Well, I think it's hard because like they're like, you need to rest, sleep and baby sleeps, but then you have all the house things. You have another child, like I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah, because if I didn't, we never slept when the baby slept, because I had like dishes filling the sink and laundry to do and all this cleaning to do. And if I would have slept when they slept and then I woke up and looked at the mess in my house, like
it's overwhelming. And
it would be, Like I remember, like you came over and helped me clean the one day, and Hannah did the same. And like, I feel like when Hannah was over, I was like, do you want to hold the baby for a little bit? So that way I
Yes.
felt like I got a little bit of an escape just to like clean my house and just have somebody hold
So
the
if you
baby.
go to your friend's house, ask them what they need. Don't just assume like I'm gonna hold the baby and you go do something, or I'm gonna clean your house. Ask them what they need.
Yeah.
Like, that would be most helpful for sure.
Absolutely.
But I also remember whenever I came over and helped you, I felt that because I'm like, well, where's your vacuum? Like, where's the cleaning stuff? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I saw the thing where like instead of a baby shower, the friend group did like a cleaning thing. So like you go to your friend's house, like who's about to have a baby, and she shows you how she cleans her house, where all her stuff is.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, you know where it's at. And I was like, that's a good idea.
That's like a great idea.
That, so.
That's so cool.
Our next friend who has a baby, we're coming for you. We're gonna help.
So what would you say are some signs of someone who is struggling with postpartum who is not open up about it yet?
It's like just the withdrawing from people and like isolating and just not doing the things that they normally would do, I guess.
So what?
I don't know. Like, did I act? I don't know that I'm like,
I feel like every once in a while,
because I feel like it was. I really do think it was more like at home. Like I know I cried a lot at home, and like
they had no idea. Like
exactly. Like I feel like because looking at pictures. So this one trip we went to Blackwater Falls, and Cameron was almost a year old at that point, and it was a great time. Like it truly was a great time. And looking at pictures, I look back at today, and I'm like, I do look happy, but I remember crying on the way home. Like I was crying, and I just felt so like I don't know the feeling. Like I just felt like I was so like numb. I guess I don't know. It was a really weird thing, but I did look it up, and it says like if you have like a really high experience, it can like make you like bottom back out. I guess, but
yeah.
I don't know. So
I feel like everyone, like, if I feel like there was a time that you weren't able to, you were going to come to women's group, and then you didn't during that time.
Yeah, there were several times I would like, and I think it's the enemy for sure, because if I would come, there were times I made myself come anyways.
Yeah.
Or Hannah would call me like soon before, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to answer this because then she's gonna know I'm like just making an excuse not to go, and so then I'm like, okay, I'll still go, and I feel better afterwards. So.
Good. Well, what would your advice be in that time? Because you don't want to like push somebody and make them upset with you, but you don't want to like pull away from them while they're already pulling away. That's going to make them feel even worse. Like what?
That's really hard, honestly. I guess it just depends on how good you know them.
Yeah,
honestly, and like because I already had opened up to like you and Hannah about it, so like she knows like if I'm just making an excuse, or if. Like there's something seriously like why I can't go.
Yeah.
So like we're really close, so I guess like she would know, but I don't really know honestly.
I guess maybe if you're not,
but honestly,
everybody's different too. But if you're not super close, being like, hey, if you're not able to come today, what's another day that we can hang out? What's another day that I can like
even if it's not the group thing, maybe it's just like, hey, you want to like come over like this day and just a one-on-one. That might actually it's a good idea.
That way, you know, they feel like they're more in charge of the plans and like gives them a little bit more freedom. And then if you're that friend or relative or whatever, just keep lifting them up in prayer. I think we overlook like, oh, the only thing I can do is pray. Like, no, prayer is so powerful. So just taking that to God and lifting them up. And I pray things like, God, I just pray that they will feel your presence there with them. I pray that they will feel you have your arms wrapped around. I know sometimes like, when I'm totally exhausted, because during nap time, I'm like running around like a crazy person, like trying to get all the things done because I want to mop my floor, clean my windows, but I can't do that because when I mop while Aiden's awake, like he runs and falls and hits his head, or if I'm like cleaning my windows, he thinks that he's helping, but
and like wipe it, the
wiping, and then like I can't unload my dishwasher or load my dishwasher unless he's in his high chair or sleeping because he pulls everything.
Boys are hard.
He's a busy. I love him so much. He's just a busybody. So that's what I try to get done during nap time. And I remember, like, there for a week straight. I should start doing it again. Like, when he woke up, I just, like, took him in my arms and laid in Madeline's bed right beside for, like, 2 minutes. And I just pictured, I think I shared this at women's group, but I just pictured God just holding me while I was holding him. And I just took that time, like, in prayer or just laying there and picturing God holding me like I was holding my baby. And that was so good just to take 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Like, it doesn't take that long.
We live in a very busy world where everything's just like go, 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 go. And it's so easy to.
And I'm so productivity driven. And I share with you guys, like, that was something God gave me a lot of clarity. Like, you need to start taking a Sabbath. And you think about, like, in the Psalms, it says, He will make you lay down in green pastures. And it's talking about, like, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He'll make you lay down in green pastures. And, like, He can physically make something happen to where, like, He is like, you need to just be still and know that I'm God, right? And so I've been trying to be better about, like, the other Sunday, I left my phone at home all day. So I was gone from my phone for over 12 hours, and that was the most relaxing day. And then yesterday, rather than coming home and getting a bunch of stuff done, like, I went to my dad and stepmom's, and, like, my brother and sister-in-law live there while they're before they move into their house. So, like, I spent a little bit of time over there, and then Aiden got to the point, it's not baby proof. So, like, when he gets tired, he gets destructive. And so he just started pulling everything off. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take you home, get you a nap. And then my sister-in-law invited me to their house, my other sister-in-law. So I was like, yes, it's a little bit out of the way, but, like, I took her son home because he was over at their house, at my dad's house, and so I just sat with him for a while and ate dinner with him. So just being a stay-at-home mom, working from home, like, I need to get out of the house because, like, when I'm at my house, my mind is not shut down with everything I need to get done. So,
or seeing it when it's, like, right in front of you, like, I see the dishes in the sink that need to be done. Like, how can I sit and relax and do something nice?
Yes. So get that escape. Do what you have to do to rest, because I know God can do more in 6 days than I can do in 7 days. So He was really, because I was like, God, are you asking me to step away from anything? And He wasn't. He was just asking me, like, no, you need to rest. So I feel like that's a word for somebody, because it's so hard to rest. But that was, like, from the start. God even rested after He made creation. Like, the seventh day was rest. So we as a society need to get better about that. And if you feel like you cannot rest on one day, like, maybe you need to drop something from your schedule to do that. So how would you encourage people to find a solid community to do life with? We talked a little bit.
Yeah, definitely pray for it. And like what I said, like, God puts people in front of you. And I mean, like, don't think, I feel like in high school, you're with the people your age. So, like, you're conditioned to think, like, your friends are your age. Lisa's, I think, 10 years older than us. I think.
Yes, and Christy's older than us. But, like,
and I love our group, how we have, like, the older ladies there who can, like, give us the wisdom, the advice. Like, her son's grown up now. Like, my son is very similar to Brady when he was younger. So, like, that's really helpful to have advice on the hard moments. And same with Kinsley, like, out of, like, me, you, and Hannah, like, Kinsley's the oldest one. So I'm like, what am I doing? Like, you guys can't tell me because, like, you're still at the younger stage, like, with Cameron. But it's nice having the advice. But
and then just inviting older people, because I know, like, some of the older ladies at our church had made a comment.
Like, they would want you because we're younger.
Yeah.
Or, like, we wouldn't want them there. I'm like, that's not true. Like, I get along great with everybody.
Yes. And I don't think I told you. So we had talked about, like, finding somebody to disciple, because, like, I disciple a lot of, like, kids, and even, like, our women's group, that's a little bit of, like, discipleship that we do, right? But I was like, I need somebody to disciple me. And I've talked to people before, and, like, without straight out asking them, I've just, like, people that I thought about asking, they've made the comment, like, you're further along in your walk, whatever, just, like, making comments. I'm like, okay, does nobody want to? I just got in my head about it, even though God's just given me a lot of clarity, like, you need to ask. So I asked Corey. It's her. So she's, like, she's probably in her 80s, but we have a lot of stuff in common with her husband. He owned a business, and she was with the kids, and just all these different things.
She's very easy to talk to.
She is. And so she said she was going to pray about it. So I told myself, I was like, okay, if she doesn't want to or isn't able to, like, I need to find somebody else. I need to keep trying. So just finding somebody that's a step ahead of you that can pour into you and can give you advice is so, so important. And then if people, like, I would say, I said it before, initiate, like, invite people to do things, like, either at your house or go to the park or whatever. And it can just be, like, an hour a week. And if one friend group doesn't work, like I said, like, I had a friend group and it just didn't work. Like, just keep praying and keep looking for that friend group. Like, don't get discouraged, because I don't know what I do without my friends.
Same. But even, like, so, like, our church, like, I know that all the other parents there are going to have similar, like, parenting styles, the beliefs, like, all around. So I think that makes it easier to make friends rather than just random other people who you might not have anything in common with, or it's like you're total opposites. And I don't know, I think it definitely makes it easier.
Yeah. And then I would say, like, be vulnerable too. Because once I started opening up about actual struggles that I was dealing with, like, then other people were saying, like, me too, this is what I was going through.
That was like me with Lisa. If Lisa wouldn't have opened up, I'm like, would I have opened up? I don't know that I would have, honestly.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do that. Don't get in your head and be like, oh, they've got enough stress on their plate. Like, no, people want to know you. You do bond in your brokenness, truly. Okay, so is there anything else you wanted to share today?
I think so.
Okay, so how can our listeners be praying for you today?
Just like for our family, just like mental health and all of that. And I mean, as a Christian, it doesn't mean that everything's easy. So it's something that I struggle with and probably will struggle with forever. Don't really know that, but let's just pray for that. That'd be great.
Okay, well, let me pray for you. God, we love you, and we just thank you for Sam. Thank you for her story. Thank you for how you really pursued her and just drew her closer to you and done that for her family. I just want to pray that you would just lift them up. I pray that you will just lift her spirits. And like I said before, I pray that she will be able to always feel your presence there with her and just help her to spend time with you every day and continue to take care of herself well. And I just pray that her kids will be able to see that and see how she has prioritized her time with you and prioritized taking care of herself. And then that will just be a reflection in what they carry on as they grow up. And I just pray that they will always keep you first and foremost in their life, help them to not go astray ever, and just continue to grow and learn. And I just pray over even her husband, Glenn, that he will be able to lead and love their family well, and that the state of his wife will be a good encourager and just build him up as a person too. And yeah, so we just pray your blessings over their family and just use them in mighty ways to serve you. And yeah, we love you and thank you for being a good father to us. We pray all these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. I hope that you guys enjoyed that episode with Sam. I just loved all the practical advice that we were able to give you guys and just how honest she was about such a hard season in her life of postpartum. My encouragement to you would be just to reach out if you are struggling with that or with anything really. Reach out to a friend, find a local church to be a part of. Even message me. I've had so many people message me to be praying for them, or even there's been a couple people that have come over just to talk and have my husband and I pray with them and give them any advice that God has laid on our hearts. So don't be afraid. Don't feel ashamed. We all struggle with different things, so you're not alone. And it normally takes one person opening up and being honest for others to do the same. So find that community, pray for that community, and don't give up on it. And just know that God is there with you every single step of the way through the mountains and the valleys. Next week, we have Leanna Stoltzfus on the podcast. She is one of the girls that I've discipled for a couple years now, so I'm really proud of her. She's 15, and she's going to be vulnerable to share her testimony with you guys, so we're excited for that, and you don't want to miss it. Don't forget to like the podcast, share it with a friend, and follow it so that you don't miss an episode. Thanks, guys, and have a great week.